Well, this log just got not fun.
I'll show you how a pissed off engineer troubleshoots a cheap ass metal detector. Thanks for visiting our sawmill. Hey folks, this is Robert Milton coming back at you from Hobby Hardwood Alabama. We're just north of Huntsville, in case you're ever wondering. So I was telling people I was going to start answering some specific questions on my videos, and one of them is, do I prefer to saw old logs or new logs, fresh logs? And this is a good example of the answer to that. Now, as a working sawmill, yes, it's always a good idea. Forward them out of the woods, get them to your sawmill, start sawing them within a very short period of time. But like a lot of things, there are exceptions. Walnut is one of those. Kind of think of a carrot, right? If you were to use a carrot peeler, all those peels are going to be fresh and they're going to roll up. I'm sure you've done it. You peel it and they roll up. That's due to the internal stress of the cellular structure of the carrot. Now, if you were to take that carrot and lay it out on the counter for a few days and let it wilt, when you peel that carrot, what's going to happen? Well, those peels are just going to kind of lay there because they're old and dehydrated and they're wilted. The same thing can happen on your logs. And in some instances, it's better, again, I'm going to crack up, it's better to have your wood wilted than it is to have it fresh. Boy, this is going to get cringy. I can already tell on this video. So this is a good example of a wilted piece of wood. It is a big log. I know it's a high value walnut log. You guys know that I do not care for sapwood in walnut. When you let a walnut log sit for a while, the sapwood's going to crack. And sure enough, you can see right here, I'm starting to see some drying cracks. And I don't really care if the sapwood's in checking, simply because I'm going to get rid of it anyway. On walnut, some other species you might want to keep it. So on walnut, it's degrade that I don't care about. So I let this log sit for a little while, and it is properly wilted, I hope. And it should reduce the internal stress of the log. Let me repeat, I am not an advocate as a professional sawmill for letting tons and tons of logs sit around and rot or wilt or fade. Anytime you do that, you will see some degrade, and degrade is lost money. However, in certain circumstances, it's a good idea. So we're going to find out if it's a good idea, because I'm going to saw this thing up, and I hope it's going to give me beautiful, wide, mostly stress-free, high-dollar walnut boards. Let's go find out. Come on, let's have some fun, and let's cut this thing up. Turn big orange on. Yeah, it's just barely clearing the top of the log. Normally, I'm going to do a 6-inch opening face on this one. I'm going to try to get a couple charcuterie boards out of it. As I've said before, I'm a firm believer that the word charcuterie is a made-up word. Oh, that's going to drop right on the camera. No, it won't. Here's another reason I like sawing these older logs, because a lot of times the bark will slip off. Now, a lot of folks know I really don't like running bark through my high-dollar planer. It's one of the reasons I have a debarker on the saws. The idea is that anytime you get mud or dirt or grit in the bark, you run a saw blade through it, it's going to instantly dull it. Anybody who's run a chainsaw and stuck the tip in the dirt knows that's the case. So the cool thing, a lot of times on these older logs, you'll get the bark will slip, basically fall off, so it comes off in one big chunk. Throw that over there, which means when after I've dried this and I've planed it, I don't have to risk dulling my planer blades. So this is another advantage. Old wilted logs. It doesn't always happen like that. Let me tell you what, We have some high dollar planer blades, and I don't like to dull them for a hunk of wood. Always, always drop your toe boards before you start rotating these things. Toe boards are these little babies. They raise and lower hydraulically. You can see the hydraulic piston as I want to level the log. The deal is, if you have these up and you rotate the log and it lands on these, yeah, it's hydraulic, it can probably take it, but you drop a big piece like this a bunch of times and do it day after day, you will blow a hydraulic fitting or something out. Trust me. Hydraulic systems are really not designed for high shock loads, and dropping a multi-thousand-pound log on a hydraulic line or a hydraulic toe board is a shock load. And you try to be as careful as you can. And that was pretty careful. That was pretty good. I'll just shift here in a pattern mode real quick. 1 1/8 drops on me. Let's cut another charcuterie board. I just don't like the sound of charcuterie board. It seems kind of pretentious. It's like, how many syllables does a word need to be called a wooden serving tray? Let's see, charcuterie. And it's spelled C-H-A-C-U-T-E-R-E or something like that. Anyway. All right, this is gonna be pretty. Let me do the old Nathan Elliot trick right here. He's a good buddy of mine out of the wood sawmill. And he likes putting water on wood to make it look pretty. That's some pretty looking wood. And I'll be performing in Las Vegas next month if you would like to see me at the Tropicana. And at the Tropicana, which I think they just blew it up this last week. Zone, dress, free zone. Now I'm just gonna, ow! That was a nail. Son of a, are you kidding me? Well, this log just got not fun. Yeah, it's all fun till you hit a nail. And as a good example of why we don't like hitting nails, I preach on sawing straight. Yeah, look, it's the surf. Ooh, up and down, up and down. See if we can find it. And there it is, right there. Son of a gun. Yeah, little bitty guy. So, and there's another. All right, let's have a lesson in nailology. So this is called blue stain or iron stain. And anytime you see this, it means there's iron in the wood. That's kind of why it's called iron stain. In oak, this goes all the way to the end of the log, this train of discoloration, and you can see it. I'd be able to see that right here. If it was oak or some other species, is a blue dot. On walnut, obviously it doesn't happen. Now, some of you guys are asking, why don't I use a metal detector? I could. I probably would have spotted these with a metal detector. But I try to only buy high-grade logs. I don't like getting nails, so typically professional loggers will not bring me nail logs. In the real world, if they bring a real nail log, they repeatedly bring nail logs to real sawmills. Not that I'm not a real sawmill. They'll get blackballed for a month. They just won't be allowed to bring logs to that sawmill anymore. I know where I got these logs. I know the logger. He did not do this on purpose. I missed it. He missed it. Metal detectors, I go through so many logs. If I metal detected every log, it would just kill my production. Not that this isn't killing my production, but I just generally don't hit that many nails. For this log, I should have used a metal detector. But, you know, if I was perfect, then I'd be running for president. Like all the other presidential candidates. That was a joke. So let's pull this out. Now I know there are some good nail pullers. The last nail puller I had, I threw out in disgust. I just didn't like it. So my nail pulling tools consist of basics. Basically what a dentist uses. A set of cutters, screwdriver, and a hammer. You can also see what happens with the cut. It's cutting good, and then boom. It's cutting worse, and then it gets here, and it's cutting real bad. Anyway, let's get this thing out. First thing, and don't send me a bunch of comments about how to get nails out. I'm already pissed off, so, you know, there may be a quick way to do it. Kind of dig it up, put the dikes under it. Don't pull, just kind of get it under there, and then you use the tip right here, clamp onto it, and lever up, and that's it. Wow, look at that. If I'd have gone just a little bit deeper, I wouldn't have hit it. All right, so my son-in-law is a dentist. He would probably cringe at me. And there we go. So the good news is these little guys didn't go in that far. The bad news is that was a new blade. Whoa, what is that? All righty, so if you want to know why I don't use metal detectors, I'm fixing to show you. Over here, there's a black spot. Now this could be rot. There's a knot right there. This could be a hunk of metal. And no telling what it is. So I've got this pinpoint metal detector. Had it for several years. And the idea is that I can go in here and see if there's metal in there. I mean, the top looks great. See if there's metal in there. Well, guess what? I hit the on button. Nothing. Change the battery, hit the on button, nothing. This is the problem with metal detectors, at least the ones that I buy. Now I bought some of those great big ones, you know, the decoil. They always work when you don't need them, but when you're actually trying to use them for something other than walking down the beach trying to find somebody's lost engagement ring, they're pretty much useless. A big decoil metal detector on this sawmill, there's so much metal here, all it does is buzz and give you a false signal, so it doesn't work once the log's on the mill. There's only one kind of metal detector that works when it's on the mill, and that's a pinpointer. And guess what? My pinpointer doesn't work. Piece of garbage. Maybe that helped? Nope. Well, we'll investigate that later, and I'll do some troubleshooting. But either way, I got a bad spot right here. That may just be a rot pocket. That may be a nail. I don't know. So I'm going to saw down. I'm going to try to avoid it. Oh well, we'll do some troubleshooting later. How's that? I'll show you how a pissed off engineer troubleshoots a cheap ass metal detector. That'll be at the end of the video. Let's saw this thing up. I'm getting tired of looking at it. Get one more on this face. Sawing those old wilted logs like that in some species lets you do things with them that you couldn't normally do on a fresh, highly stressed log. You have to think about what would Chip, my dog, do, because he is a highly stressed dog. As you can see, there is no stress. Seriously. You're a good dog, Chippy. Let's just cut this one up. We're going to go to the center. Stop right at the pit board or the dog board. So here's what it all looks like. A nice stack of wood. Let me zoom in here. Gorgeous walnut. Nice and calm, relaxed. Beautiful stuff. I was going to do a little diagnostics on that faulty metal detector. Where did that little thing go? Let me look. So the first thing you do is take out the battery. So you want to carefully open these up with surgical precision because you don't want to damage any of the internal components. So me being a high-end rocket scientist type engineer, I'm going to do my best to be delicate. One of these things. Oh, that's right. What was that? Oh, I don't know. Huh. Let's look at it now. Yep. It's obvious that there's an issue with the circuit board. I did get a lot of comments on drying wood, so I'm going to do another video on that. It'll probably be next after this one. And so y'all stay tuned. It ought to be interesting. Robert Milton, Hobby Hardwood, signing off. We will see y'all next week.
Thanks for visiting our sawmill. Click on the links above to see more of our videos.